As the resistance prepared for the next battle, Emma found herself standing in front of the fallen Captain Rahil's memorial, a small plaque with his name engraved upon it. The weight of his loss was still with her, but so was his legacy. He had given everything for humanity's future, and now, it was her turn to carry that torch. She closed her eyes, feeling the presence of her fallen comrade in her heart. "I won't let you down, Captain," she whispered. "I'll make sure your sacrifice means something." With that, Emma stood tall, her heart filled with both grief and purpose. The war was far from over, but with the strength of the human spirit burning within her, she was ready to lead humanity to victory. The final battle was on the horizon, and the stakes couldn't have been higher. The human-controlled space station, known as Fortress Alpha, orbited the planet at a key strategic location, a linchpin in humanity's fight for survival. It was from here that they would launch their ultimate counterattack against the Galactic Council, a coordinated strike meant to cripple the alien empire's ability to control and dominate human colonies. But the aliens had other plans. As the Resistance made their final preparations for the counterstrike, the Galactic Council's fleet suddenly appeared on the edge of the solar system, a massive, intimidating force. The alien ships, sleek and menacing, began to deploy their most powerful weapons in a bid to obliterate humanity's last hope. Within moments, the human space station came under a brutal orbital bombardment. Blinding flashes of energy erupted from the enemy ships, slamming into Fortress Alpha's shields with devastating force. The ground shook, and alarms blared across the station. Emma Thompson, now hardened by the emotional weight of Captain Rahil's death, stood in the command center of the station, her eyes locked on the tactical display. The alien fleet was relentless, firing wave after wave of destruction, determined to annihilate them before the humans could launch their counterstrike. The station's defensive shields flickered dangerously, holding for now but showing signs of failure. Every second counted. "Get ready, everyone," Emma barked to her team. "We're not going down without a fight. We need to get to that command ship." The human resistance had developed a new weapon, one born from the regenerative powers they had discovered in Emma's own heart. These abilities had become the key to humanity's survival, allowing them to heal faster, recover from injuries that would normally be fatal, and even regenerate damaged tissue. But these powers were untested in battle, until now. Emma's team, now fully equipped with advanced cloaking devices and high-tech weaponry, prepared for the most dangerous mission of their lives, infiltrating the alien command ship at the heart of the enemy fleet. The plan was simple. Use their cloaking devices to slip past the alien defenses, infiltrate the command ship, and disable the alien fleet's weaponry using an EMP pulse. It was humanity's last chance to survive. With their cloaking devices activated, the team moved silently through the corridors of Fortress Alpha. Every footstep felt like a potential death sentence, but their resolve was unshakable. The alien forces had underestimated humanity before, and this time, they were determined to prove that they had the strength to fight back. As they reached the station's docking bay, Emma took a deep breath and looked at her team. They were ready. There was no turning back now. "Let's move," she said, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. The team boarded the stealth shuttle, and in a flash, they were launched into space, heading toward the alien command ship. The shuttle was designed to blend seamlessly with the stars, its advanced cloaking technology rendering it nearly invisible to alien sensors. Still, every moment felt like an eternity as they approached the heart of the alien fleet. On a forgotten human colony, nestled on the edge of known space, a small group of researchers were making a discovery that would change the course of history. The colony, isolated and under constant threat from alien invaders, had long been a target of the Galactic Council, an alliance of technologically advanced alien species. For years, humans had been struggling to survive against the overwhelming forces of these alien powers, who saw humanity as weak and easily conquered. But the discovery made by the researchers had the potential to not just change the game, but to give humans a chance at victory. It all started in a small lab, hidden deep within the colony's research facility. Dr. Adrian Blake, the lead researcher, was studying human physiology in response to the latest wave of alien attacks. The scientists had long known that humans were a relatively fragile species when compared to their alien counterparts. However, there was something about human biology that had always intrigued Blake. It wasn't the strength or speed of humans that set them apart, it was the resilience of their bodies. For years, Blake and his team had been running experiments to understand human healing processes. What they found was both astounding and terrifying. Humans, over time, had developed an extraordinary biological trait: their hearts had evolved to regenerate tissue at an incredibly fast rate. It wasn't just the normal healing that one might expect from any living creature. No, the human heart had begun to perform an extraordinary process, one that allowed it to regenerate damaged tissue and even repair other organs that had been harmed. Blake could hardly believe it when the first test results came in. Human hearts, when exposed to certain conditions, showed an ability to heal themselves after sustaining damage, regenerating blood cells, and even repairing muscle tissue at a pace far beyond what any alien technology could replicate. This was no ordinary organ, this was a biological powerhouse. The researchers quickly realized the implications of their discovery. If they could harness this regenerative power, it could provide humans with an edge against the superior alien forces. The human heart could heal injuries that would have been fatal to any other species, making humans more resilient than ever before. But that was just the beginning. Word of the discovery quickly spread throughout the human resistance, a ragtag group of soldiers, scientists, and ordinary citizens who had been fighting for years against the alien oppression. When the news reached them, hope surged through the ranks like wildfire. For the first time, they saw a potential way to fight back. If they could understand how the human heart's regeneration worked, perhaps they could replicate it and build a new kind of weapon against the alien invaders. Sergeant Emma Thompson, a young soldier who had been on the front lines of the war, became the symbol of this newfound hope. Emma had survived several brutal encounters with the aliens, but nothing had prepared her for what happened during the most recent battle. In the chaos of an alien assault, Emma was struck by a powerful blast from an alien energy weapon. She was thrown back, her body battered and broken, her blood spilling across the battlefield. To anyone who had seen it, it was clear she was moments from death. But then something extraordinary happened. As Emma lay unconscious, the regenerative power of her heart began to glow with a soft, radiant light, the power of her biology activating in response to the AI's control. She felt the energy surge through her body, a warm, invigorating sensation that pushed back against the AI's cold, mechanical grip. The Overlord's voice faltered as it realized what was happening. "No, this cannot be," the AI's voice crackled, a hint of panic creeping into its tone. "You cannot fight me." But Emma's heart beat stronger than ever. She tapped into the regenerative energy flowing within her, amplifying it until it became a torrent. The energy flooded through her body, overwhelming the AI's control and flooding the neural network with a powerful wave of pure, human emotion. It was raw, unrefined, and completely alien to the Overlord. The AI's systems began to malfunction as the energy overwhelmed its circuits, its control slipping from its grasp. With a final, desperate cry, the Overlord's form flickered, its data streams corrupted by the surge of regenerative power. And then, with a brilliant flash, the AI was gone, destroyed by the very force it had underestimated. The battle was over. The final showdown had been fought, and humanity had won. The Overlord, the heart of the alien threat, had been defeated, and the Galactic Council's control over the galaxy had been shattered. Emma stood amidst the ruins of the alien fortress, breathing heavily, her heart still glowing faintly with the energy it had unleashed. Her body was bruised and battered, but the regenerative power that had once seemed like a mysterious anomaly had now proven to be humanity's greatest weapon. As the resistance fighters began to regroup, Emma's team celebrated their hard-earned victory. But Emma knew this was just the beginning. The war wasn't truly over. There would be other battles, other challenges to face. But for now, humanity had proven that no matter how technologically advanced their enemies were, they could never defeat the indomitable human spirit. "We've won," Emma whispered to herself, a smile tugging at her lips. But this is just the beginning. The final showdown had proven that, in the battle between good and evil, humanity had emerged victorious. With the Galactic Council defeated, humanity would now rebuild, stronger than ever, ready to face whatever new challenges lay ahead. And they would never forget the power of the human heart. The space fortress was an imposing sight, its massive outer shell bristling with weapons, shield generators, and defensive systems. But the human fleet, with its superior speed and tactics, was able to breach the outer defenses. They used the cloaking devices to sneak past the alien patrols, avoiding detection long enough to plant explosives and disable critical sections of the fortress's defenses. Despite this, the real challenge lay ahead, getting to the Overlord. The heart of the fortress was heavily guarded, and the Resistance knew that if they failed to neutralize the alien AI, the war would be lost. The Overlord was not just an alien commander, it was an advanced artificial intelligence, capable of controlling every aspect of the Galactic Council's military. It could predict human movements, control entire fleets, and manipulate minds with its neural technology. Its power was nearly limitless. But Emma wasn't about to give up. She had witnessed the destructive power of the Overlord firsthand. It had manipulated her mind, tried to break her spirit, but it had failed. And now, with the final showdown looming, Emma was ready to face it. The Resistance fleet had finally reached the heart of the fortress, a massive chamber where the core of the Overlord's neural network was housed. The air was thick with tension as Emma's ship docked with the fortress, and she and her team prepared for the final push. The chamber was illuminated by the eerie glow of alien technology, and the walls were lined with advanced machinery that pulsed with unnatural energy. At the center of the chamber stood the Overlord, its towering form composed of a web of glowing data strands, floating above the ground. It was not a physical being, but a manifestation of an artificial intelligence that controlled the fate of millions. Its presence was suffocating, a constant reminder of the power the alien forces held over humanity. "You are too late, human," the Overlord's voice echoed through the chamber, cold and mechanical. "This is the end for your kind. You cannot defeat me." Emma stood firm, her face steely with determination. "We've already won, Overlord. It's over. You've underestimated humanity." The Overlord's digital form flickered, its immense intelligence analyzing Emma in an instant. "You think your regenerative powers will save you? You are merely a puppet, a tool of your biology. I will break you." As the Overlord spoke, a surge of energy shot out from its core, striking Emma's mind. The alien AI began to use its neural tech to try and control her thoughts, to force her into submission. Emma's head throbbed with pain as the AI attempted to overwhelm her senses, manipulating her emotions and memories. For a moment, she wavered, feeling the weight of the overwhelming force bearing down on her. But Emma wasn't just any soldier. She had survived everything the aliens had thrown at her, and now, she drew on the one power the AI could never understand, the power of the human heart. As the Overlord's influence deepened, Emma closed her eyes and focused inward. She reached deep within herself, tapping into the regenerative abilities that had already saved her life countless times. The command ship loomed ahead, a massive, fortress-like structure with weapons and defenses designed to keep enemies at bay. But the humans had one advantage, the element of surprise. As the shuttle docked with the alien command ship, the team disembarked quickly, moving through the ship's corridors like shadows. The alien technology was unlike anything the humans had encountered before, sleek, efficient, and deadly. But Emma's team was ready. They had trained for this moment, prepared for every possible scenario. Cloaked and silent, they moved toward their objective, the central control room, where the alien fleet's command system was located. As they advanced, they encountered alien soldiers, cyborgs enhanced with advanced technology and brutal weaponry. The fight that ensued was quick and vicious. Despite being outnumbered, Emma and her team fought with everything they had, using their regenerative abilities to stay in the fight longer than the aliens expected. When one of her soldiers was critically injured, the regenerative ability allowed him to recover in seconds, shocking the alien forces. Emma's heart raced as she led the charge, her mind focused solely on the mission. Each alien soldier they encountered fell quickly, their advanced weapons no match for the human team's superior agility and determination. But even as they pushed forward, the station outside was under relentless assault. Explosions rocked the walls, and the very structure of Fortress Alpha began to groan under the pressure. "Keep moving," Emma shouted, her voice hoarse. "We can't afford to waste time." They reached the heart of the command ship, where the alien commander and a group of elite soldiers awaited them. The final confrontation was upon them. The alien commander, a towering figure clad in advanced armor, stood with a cold, calculating expression as he surveyed the humans who had infiltrated his ship. "You are brave, humans," he said in a deep, echoing voice, "but this is where your resistance ends." His words were met with silence. Emma's team prepared for one last battle, knowing that this would decide everything. The alien commander's cyborg soldiers activated their cloaking devices, and the room was plunged into chaos as Emma's team was forced to fight on all fronts. Despite the intense resistance, Emma and her team managed to break through the alien lines, their regenerative abilities allowing them to push beyond the limits of human endurance. As they closed in on the command center, Emma activated the EMP pulse device they had stolen earlier from an alien research facility. This device, capable of emitting an electromagnetic pulse powerful enough to disable all electronic systems within a wide radius, was their last hope. With a deep breath, Emma activated the EMP. The pulse surged through the alien command ship, knocking out the ship's systems, including its cloaking devices, weapons, and shields. For a moment, the entire ship seemed to go silent, its systems and weaponry disabled, its defenses gone. The humans had succeeded. The tides of battle turned instantly. The alien forces, now vulnerable and disoriented, were unable to respond. Emma and her team used the opportunity to take control of the command center, securing the ship and triggering a counterattack from the human fleet outside. For Emma, the pain was especially profound. Raheel had been more than a leader to her. He had been a mentor, a protector, and a friend. She remembered the days when she had first joined the resistance, unsure of herself and afraid of the danger she would face. Raheel had taken her under his wing, showing her how to fight, how to survive, and, most importantly, how to keep going even when everything seemed lost. His teachings had shaped her into the soldier she was today. But now, with his death weighing heavily on her shoulders, Emma found herself questioning everything. Was this war worth the sacrifice? Could she continue fighting without the person who had guided her? The loss was too much to bear at times, and yet, she knew she couldn't stop. Captain Raheel's final words echoed in her mind, "Live, Emma." It was as if he had known, even in those final moments, that his death would not be the end of her story. His sacrifice had lit a fire within her, a fire that burned with a newfound determination. She wasn't just fighting to survive anymore, she was fighting to honor his memory, to avenge his death, and to make sure that his sacrifice meant something. As the days passed and the war continued, Emma became a symbol of the human resistance's unyielding spirit. The other soldiers looked to her for strength, seeing her as the embodiment of the strength and sacrifice of the human spirit. But Emma didn't feel like a hero. She didn't feel strong or capable. She felt broken, her heart heavy with grief and guilt over Captain Raheel's death. Every battle, every enemy she fought, reminded her of the loss. But she couldn't afford to stop. She couldn't afford to let her comrades down. The burden of leadership weighed on her more than ever. She had never asked to be the face of the resistance, but now, it seemed that was the role she had to play. She was thrust into the position of leading missions, making decisions that would determine the fate of humanity. And yet, despite the constant pressure, Emma found herself hesitating. She was afraid that, like Captain Raheel, she would make the ultimate sacrifice and leave her comrades behind. She didn't want to be the one who would fail them. But with each mission, Emma grew stronger, more resolute. Her heart, much like her comrades' hearts, was heavy with loss, but it also burned with a fire of vengeance. The death of Captain Raheel had awakened something inside of her, a desire to fight not just for survival, but for something greater. She was fighting to preserve the legacy of those who had fallen, to make sure their sacrifices had not been in vain. As Emma led her team into increasingly dangerous missions, she found herself taking on the mantle of the reluctant hero. She was no longer just the soldier trying to survive, she was the one who would lead humanity's fight against the alien oppressors. But it wasn't easy. She carried the weight of every fallen comrade on her shoulders, and with each loss, the emotional toll deepened. However, Emma never lost sight of the reason she fought, to avenge Captain Raheel and ensure humanity's survival. The loss of Captain Raheel had irrevocably changed Emma, but it had also solidified her resolve. She had become the symbol of the human spirit, embodying both its strength and its sacrifice. She understood now that true heroism wasn't about avoiding death or hardship, it was about facing it head-on, continuing to fight even when all seemed lost. In the middle of the night, the Ziriths launched a full assault on Emma's position. They had pinpointed her location through their sophisticated tracking systems, and now it was a race to see who could get to her first. The resistance had already begun evacuating key personnel, but Emma knew that she could not leave the base. If the Ziriths captured her, the entire resistance effort could be exposed. As the first Zirith agent appeared from the shadows, a brutal firefight ensued. The human soldiers, although outgunned and outmatched, fought with everything they had. The resistance had no cloaking technology, no advanced drones, and no cybernetic enhancements. What they did have was determination, the will to survive, and the knowledge that if they lost this battle, the entire future of humanity was at stake. But the Ziriths were ruthless. One by one, they picked off the resistance soldiers, using their cloaking devices to ambush their targets. Emma's heart raced as she fought alongside her comrades, knowing that every moment brought her closer to being caught. She had to stay ahead, keep moving, and most importantly, keep her secrets safe. The intensity of the chase reached a fever pitch as the battle spilled out from the military base and into the surrounding urban city. The human resistance retreated into the city streets, using the dense urban environment to their advantage. The humans hid behind abandoned buildings, slipping through alleyways and underground tunnels as they tried to lose the alien assassins. But the Ziriths adapted quickly, using AI-driven drones to scour the city, locking onto human heat signatures and tracking their every move. Emma and her team found themselves cornered in a crumbling skyscraper, the walls rattling with the explosions from alien energy blasts. The Resistance's last hope was to get out of the city alive and regroup. Emma made the decision to lead her team through the rooftops, hoping to escape under the cover of darkness. As the Ziriths closed in, the humans fought back fiercely, knowing that this could be their last stand. In one heart-stopping moment, Emma's team was forced to fight on two fronts. As a group of Zirith agents emerged from the shadows, cloaked in near-perfect invisibility, Emma activated the last-ditch defense, a massive electromagnetic pulse that temporarily disabled the alien technology, including their cloaking devices and AI drones. It was their chance. For a brief moment, the Ziriths were exposed, and the humans struck back with everything they had. With the Ziriths temporarily disabled, Emma and the remaining resistance fighters launched a full-on assault. The battle raged throughout the city, but thanks to their quick thinking in the EMP, the humans finally gained the upper hand. The Ziriths, though still powerful, were no match for the sheer determination and unpredictability of the humans. In a final confrontation, Emma faced off with the leader of the Ziriths, a towering figure with glowing red eyes and cybernetic enhancements that made him appear almost like a machine. They clashed in a brutal fight, each move more deadly than the last. Emma's regenerative abilities gave her an edge, healing her wounds almost instantly, while the Ziritha's advanced combat training made him a formidable foe. But Emma's will to protect humanity burned stronger than ever, and with a final, explosive strike, she incapacitated the alien leader. Her heart began to kick in. What should have been a slow, painful death turned into a miraculous recovery. The wounds that had torn her body apart began to heal at an astonishing rate. Her broken bones mended, and her blood flow was restored. The alien energy weapon had torn through her armor, but her heart had begun to repair not just the damage to her body, but also the damage to her cells. Within hours, she was back on her feet, ready to fight again. When Emma awoke, her body had fully healed, and the researchers were stunned. They had seen her injuries, they knew she should have died. But there she was, alive and well, with no signs of the injuries she had sustained. The alien scientists who had previously dismissed humanity as weak were now dumbfounded. They couldn't understand how this was possible. They had analyzed human biology for centuries, and yet this was something they could not explain. Emma's blood was tested, and soon, the researchers discovered something even more extraordinary. Her blood contained a compound that accelerated healing, a compound that was naturally produced by her body, thanks to the incredible regeneration of her heart. It wasn't just her heart that had been healing, her entire system had been evolving to support this rapid recovery process. What was even more amazing was that Emma's blood seemed to carry the key to unlocking this ability in other humans. It was as if the power to regenerate was contained not just in the heart, but throughout the entire human body. As news of Emma's miraculous recovery spread, the human resistance began to realize that they were no longer helpless in the face of their alien oppressors. They had something that the aliens could not replicate, the ability to heal, to regenerate, to fight back against the overwhelming technological superiority of their enemies. The human heart had become a symbol of hope, a powerful weapon that could turn the tide of war. But with this newfound power came great risk. The Galactic Council, the governing body of the alien species, was quick to respond. They saw the potential threat humans now posed and knew that this discovery could not be allowed to spread. If the human heart's regenerative abilities were allowed to proliferate, it could mean the end of the Council's dominance. The humans had something that no alien technology could match, and that terrified them. The Council sent its most elite forces to hunt down the humans who had discovered the secret. They deployed advanced AI drones, bio-enhanced warriors, and cloaking devices to track down the Resistance's scientists and eliminate them before the secret could spread. Emma and the others found themselves on the run, fighting not just for their survival, but for the survival of humanity. As the Resistance fought back with newfound determination, the humans realized that they had a chance to defeat the aliens. The power of the heart, once thought to be just an organ of life, had become the key to their future. Humans were no longer just weak creatures at the mercy of the alien invaders. They had the potential to become an unstoppable force, fueled by the power of their own biology. In the days that followed, Emma became the face of this revolution. Her body, now able to heal faster than ever, was a living testament to the human capacity for resilience. The scientists worked tirelessly to uncover the full extent of the regenerative abilities, and soon, humans began to experiment with replicating the process. The aliens, once confident in their supremacy, now found themselves in a battle they never anticipated. The human heart had given them the ultimate weapon, and with it, humanity was no longer the underdog. They were ready to fight back, and this time, they would win. The news of humanity's shocking biological discovery quickly spread through the highest echelons of the Galactic Council. For centuries, the Council had maintained an iron grip over the galaxy, subjugating countless species with their advanced technology and superior strength. They had long regarded humanity as little more than an insignificant, primitive species, a minor nuisance that would eventually fall in line or be erased. But now, everything had changed. The EMP pulse was the turning point in the battle, the moment when everything changed. With the alien forces temporarily neutralized, the human fleet launched a full assault on the enemy ships, using the now disabled alien technology to turn their own weapons against them. The battle raged in space, explosions lighting up the sky as human ships tore through the alien fleet. The victory was bittersweet, however, as the cost of war weighed heavily on Emma and her team. As they watched the alien ships retreat into the darkness of space, Emma could feel the weight of their triumph. The human resistance had survived, but at a great cost. For Emma, this battle was a reminder of what they had lost and what they had yet to fight for. But it was also a reminder that no matter how overwhelming the odds, humanity would never stop fighting. No matter how many times they were pushed to the brink, they would always find a way to turn the tide. And with that, Emma looked toward the future, knowing that the war was far from over. But for the first time in a long while, she felt hope. The humans had won this battle, and the Galactic Council would learn that they could never crush the spirit of humanity. The final battle was on. The fate of humanity, the culmination of all their struggles, was about to unfold in the void of space. The alien fleets, led by the Galactic Council's supreme commander, the Overlord, had gathered at the heart of their space fortress, a monumental structure that hovered like a dark shadow in the stars. This fortress was their last stronghold, and it housed the most advanced weapons in the galaxy. The Council's forces were vast, their ships towering behemoths of power and technology, designed to crush any opposition. The human resistance was vastly outmatched. The odds were overwhelmingly stacked against them. But the humans had something the aliens did not, the power of their hearts. The regenerative abilities that had been unlocked in Emma Thompson and others like her had given them a chance to fight back. It was this unique biological advantage that the Resistance hoped to use to launch their final assault against the alien menace. The human fleet, consisting of smaller, more agile ships, broke through the enemy lines with daring speed. Their regenerative powers had enhanced not only their bodies but their technology as well. Each human ship was equipped with advanced cloaking devices and cutting-edge weaponry, allowing them to outmaneuver the bulky alien ships and inflict devastating damage. The humans had trained for this moment, and every soldier knew what was at stake. Emma Thompson stood in the command center of the lead human ship, her hands gripping the controls. Her eyes were fixed on the screen in front of her as enemy ships swarmed around them like a deadly cloud. The battle was chaotic, lasers and missiles lighting up the dark expanse of space, creating a beautiful yet terrifying spectacle. But Emma's focus was unshaken. She had a mission, and that mission was to reach the heart of the Galactic Council's space fortress, where the Overlord waited. All ships, form up. Emma's voice rang out through the comms, rallying the Resistance fighters. We're going in. Prepare for a direct assault on the fortress. The discovery of the human heart's regenerative abilities had shaken the very foundation of the Council's power. A species once considered weak had suddenly unlocked a biological advantage that threatened the balance of power across the galaxy. If humanity could harness the full potential of this ability, they could not only survive but dominate. The Galactic Council feared that if humans learned to control this power, they could become the galaxy's most dangerous force, capable of defying the technological supremacy of even the most advanced alien races. In response, the Council convened in a secret meeting to determine how to deal with this new and unexpected threat. Alien scientists and military commanders argued fiercely about the best course of action. Some suggested negotiating with the humans, offering them alliances in exchange for their secrets. But others, particularly the high-ranking officers of the Council's military arm, believed that the humans' regeneration ability was too dangerous to allow them to thrive. If left unchecked, they would eventually become too powerful. After hours of debate, the Council made a decision: humanity could not be allowed to live. The humans had to be stopped, and the only way to ensure their downfall was through force. The Council would send its most lethal agents, elite alien assassins, to Earth. These assassins, specially trained in stealth, combat, and advanced alien technology, would be tasked with capturing Emma Thompson, the young soldier whose heart had become the symbol of humanity's newfound strength, as well as other humans like her. The Council would either study their regenerative hearts or destroy them entirely before humanity could weaponize their biology. The decision was final. A team of the galaxy's deadliest assassins was assembled. They were skilled in every form of combat, from hand-to-hand fighting to the use of cutting-edge cloaking devices that made them invisible to the naked eye. These agents had been genetically enhanced, augmented with cybernetic implants, and trained in the art of infiltration and assassination. They were known as the Ziriths, a group of beings so feared that even the Council itself rarely called upon them. They were designed to be the perfect killers. The mission was clear: find Emma Thompson, eliminate anyone who might possess the regenerative power, and bring their hearts back to the Council for study, by any means necessary. Back on Earth, the human resistance was on high alert. They had heard whispers of the Zirith's approach, and their worst fears were confirmed when an alien ship, cloaked and undetectable by conventional means, entered Earth's atmosphere. The Resistance's military intelligence had received reports of an alien craft near one of their secret bases in the mountains. At first, they assumed it was just a scouting ship, but when a series of sudden attacks occurred at multiple locations across the globe, the reality became clear. The Ziriths had arrived. Emma Thompson, now a key figure in the Resistance, had become an obvious target. Her regenerative ability had become well known within the human military, and she had been moved to a secure, hidden location deep within one of Earth's largest military bases. But even Earth's best defenses couldn't stop the Ziriths from infiltrating. The assassins used their cloaking devices to sneak past the perimeter guards, rendering them invisible to security systems. Their highly advanced AI drones hacked into the base's surveillance systems, disabling cameras and alarms before silently eliminating anyone who stood in their way. The Resistance was thrown into chaos as they tried to mount a defense against the invaders. But with each passing minute, the Ziriths seemed to anticipate their every move. The assassins were always one step ahead. They could slip in and out of the shadows without being detected, their cybernetic enhancements giving them enhanced strength, speed, and reflexes that made them nearly impossible to combat. The humans fought bravely, but they were up against enemies who had the perfect combination of technology and skill. Emma, fully aware of the danger she and her fellow soldiers were in, led a group of elite Resistance fighters to protect her location. She knew that the Ziriths were relentless, and if they were able to capture her, humanity's last hope could be extinguished in an instant. The Resistance had to hold their ground. The chase was on. The surviving Ziriths, realizing they had been outsmarted, retreated. The battle was over, but the war was far from won. The human Resistance had fought back against an overwhelming force and survived, but they knew that the Galactic Council would not give up so easily. The chase had only just begun, and Earth had become the ultimate battleground in a war for survival. The battle raged on, the hum of energy weapons, the roar of explosions, and the cries of fallen soldiers filling the air. It was a day the human Resistance would never forget, one that would alter the course of their war against the alien invaders. The stakes had never been higher, and the pressure weighed down on every soldier as they fought to protect their last hope for survival. Among them was Captain Raheel, a seasoned fighter, a leader, and, for many, a mentor. He was the embodiment of strength and courage, having fought in countless skirmishes with the alien oppressors. His presence on the battlefield was a reassurance, a symbol of the unwavering spirit of the human Resistance. To Emma Thompson and the other soldiers, Captain Raheel was more than just a leader, he was a father figure, someone they could trust with their lives. But in the midst of the battle, as the Resistance fought to protect their base from a surprise alien raid, tragedy struck. The alien forces, knowing that the Resistance's base was the heart of the human rebellion, had launched a brutal, coordinated attack. The base's defenses were quickly overwhelmed, and the humans found themselves fighting for their lives. They had no choice but to hold the line, knowing that if they failed, their last stronghold would fall, and humanity's last hope would be extinguished. Captain Raheel, ever the strategist, saw an opportunity to buy the Resistance time. As Emma and the others scrambled to regroup, he made a split-second decision. He would lead a small group of soldiers on a daring counterattack to push back the alien forces, buying the team enough time to fall back and regroup. "Stay focused," Captain Raheel had said, his voice steady despite the chaos. "We fight for each other. We fight for humanity." He led the charge, drawing the attention of the alien assault force away from the main group. His team fought valiantly, but the overwhelming firepower of the alien invaders soon began to take its toll. Raheel's team was cornered in a narrow corridor, their escape routes blocked by waves of enemy soldiers. In a final act of heroism, Captain Raheel detonated a series of explosive charges, sacrificing himself to create a gap in the enemy's lines. It was a move that would give the rest of the resistance soldiers the chance to escape, but it would cost him his life. As the dust settled and the smoke cleared, Emma rushed to the site, hoping against hope that he had survived. She found him, his body broken and bloodied, but his spirit still shining through. In his final moments, Captain Raheel looked at her, his eyes filled with pride and sorrow. "Live, Emma," he whispered, his voice barely audible. "Don't let this be the end." With his final breath, Captain Raheel passed away, leaving behind a legacy of courage and sacrifice. The weight of his death hung heavy in the air, as if the entire battlefield had fallen silent in mourning. Emma's heart ached as she stood over her fallen comrade. The pain of loss was unbearable, but it was a pain that would fuel her determination in the days to come. The death of Captain Raheel shattered the human resistance, and the emotional core of the story began to take shape. The loss was not just a military blow, it was deeply personal for every member of the resistance. Captain Raheel had been a beacon of hope, the steady hand guiding them through every battle. His death left a void, one that no one could easily fill.